Yeah.
AVC Sports presents high school basketball. Tonight's game is brought to you by Dome Ford, Patriots, Buckeye Mutual Insurance, WB Green Insurance, West 40 Auto Sales, Woodfield Savings Bank.
Hey, welcome everyone to John Glenn High School, where tonight the 7th-seeded Muskies of John Glenn host the 13th-seeded Zanesville Blue Devils. I'm Howard Twiggs, and we're joined this evening by Coach Mike Podlasiak. Mike, nice to see you again. I think we expect a good ball game. Two teams that middle of the pack in terms of the seeding, 21 teams in the sectional combined district. So not a lot of difference really between the records, especially with Zanesville winning 6 of their last 10.
I agree, Howard. I was here the other night for the Steubenville-John Glenn game. What an entertaining game that was. I saw Zanesville just a week ago down at Meadowbrook, and I think they've improved as the season's gone on. So I look for a very competitive, exciting game here tonight between these two.
Zanesville received a bye in the opening round, while John Glenn had to play that pigtail game, so to speak, and they won that dramatic game over Steubenville 60-58 as Nathan Walker put a missed shot back at the buzzer. Mike, you were here. That must have just been really a highlight.
What a crazy last 12 seconds that was. I mean, Steubenville came down. They had the game in control and took an ill-advised shot, Howard, with about 9 seconds to go. An off-balance shot along the baseline that had no prayer of going in, and then John Glenn was able to get the rebound, and that's why you don't take the shot too early. Gave them time to come down. Will Nikolazakis took a shot from the right wing, and I couldn't tell whether it was partially blocked or whatever. Came up short, and Nathan Walker, Johnny on the spot, did the smart thing, and as soon as it touched his hands, he got it off as quick as he could. And depending on who you talk to, it was just, it was that close. I don't know that I've ever seen, Howard, a shot that was any closer than that as far as whether it was good or after the buzzer.
I actually happened to be watching that game on YouTube, Mike, and I couldn't agree more. It was just really a millisecond deciding how it went in. But tonight, these John Glenn Muskies will have their hands full because this is a Zanesville Blue Devil team. Not a lot of size, but as we just mentioned, they're playing better. They're athletic. And when I look at some of the keys for this game, Coach, and you can touch on this if you would, John Glenn's already played a game in the tournament. I think that's big. John Glenn is playing at home. I think that's big with the one game under their belt. And maybe one of the biggest factors tonight is Caleb Larrick for John Glenn, the 6'6 junior with the size inside, and Zanesville may not have anybody to answer that.
You know, I was with Mike Snively the other night on the game, and we had mentioned the same thing. One of the keys we thought going into the game was the way Caleb Larrick played. And I've seen him now about 5 times this year, and that by far was his best outing that I've seen him the other night. He was solid. He controlled the glass, didn't make the careless, lazy, stupid fouls that sometimes he gets himself into, was in no foul trouble, and he pretty much dominated the glass the other night. And I totally agree with you. If he's able to do that again tonight, the Blue Devils are going to have their hands full with the Little Muskies.
From your experience, Mike, with tournament play, how important is it that John Glenn's already had a game and they're home for game 2?
I think it's huge. Of course, back when I was coaching, that's been several years ago.
Neutral.
It was everything. Every game from game 1 was played on a neutral court. So this is something new. I like what they're doing, though. I mean, you can play all these games the same night. It's and you play the regular season for a reason now. But yeah, them being at home, and you've coached. Kids are tight, coaches are tight, especially the first tournament game, and you could see that the other night here. I mean, it became a good basketball game as it progressed, but that first quarter was ugly.
And we may see the same thing tonight again with Zanesville now on the road in their tournament opener. It's funny how you play 22 regular season games, and now all of a sudden you get into the tournament and your mindset kind of changes.
Oh, yeah.
And the pressure is just a little bit tighter for you.
Especially if you're a senior. Now I'm looking at the roster, and I believe that Zanesville only starts one senior, Xavier Riley.
That's correct.
And the Little Muskies have, I believe, 3 seniors
That's
in their starting
correct also.
lineup.
Yeah.
So it's huge for them because in the back of your mind, and I think we went through this years ago. I don't know, it's been so long ago, but you're thinking, if we don't win, my high school career is over.
Right.
And for some of these kids that are a single sport athlete, if this is all they do, they're done. So it's huge for them. So I think it causes you to be a little bit tight. But again, once the ball's thrown up, it's tipped, you're going to get into the flow of the game. And I look for a good game here tonight.
I think so, too. Well, let's look at the common opponents, speaking of a good game. Both teams played Cambridge. Zanesville won 46-44. John Glenn more impressive. They won 70-48. Meadowbrook, and again, let's be honest, Meadowbrook not much of a test. Both teams blew out the Colts, 70-34 for Zanesville, 72-33 for John Glenn. They could have named the score. But I think a couple of interesting scores, Mike. Against Maysville, the best team perhaps in the area, Zanesville, Muskingum County area. Zanesville only lost 55-45 to Maysville. John Glenn lost 58-48 and 53-33.
Much closer the first time.
Yeah, that tells me that Zanesville's got some competitive juices. Secondly, New Philly, that we'll talk about at halftime when we go into the tournaments. Zanesville lost by 10, 47-37. John Glenn lost by 14, 57-43. So if you're a Zanesville fan, I mean, I think you've got a little bit of coat there.
Oh, you've got to come here feeling like you've got a chance. If you play as well as you can play, and again, shooting's going to be a little bit different because a little different atmosphere to shoot in here. Again, I think that's going to be an advantage for John Glenn because they practice here and they play here all the time. So that's going to be an advantage. But and then, like you mentioned, New Philly, and we can talk about this later on down the road. The winner of this game, of course, is going to play the winner of New Philly and West Holmes. New Philly comes into the tournament as the number 2 seed, so you got to like their chances probably tonight going against the number 20 seed West Holmes. And of course, starting next week, then all those games will be played on neutral courts.
Absolutely. Some of the keys tonight, first for John Glenn, as we've seen all season, Coach, they want to press, they want to make the game fast, and then when they get it into the half court, they want to go inside to the guy we talked about earlier, Caleb Blarick. But they also have guys that can bust it from the outside. Nathan Walker and Bexley Woodard is a guy who, if he gets hot, he can shoot the 3 as well.
I tell you what, don't count out Caden Walls also, Will Nikolazakis, and they can bring a couple kids off the bench and Noah Winland and Lane Hall, along with Steele Bates.
A freshman.
And I tell you, you wouldn't know by watching him play that he's a freshman. He's going to be a nice athlete coming down the road. But they all bring depth, and they all can shoot it. And I think a big key for them tonight is how well do they shoot it. They struggled a little bit from behind the arc against Steubenville, and I think that was one of the reasons that made that such a close game.
Zanesville relies on balanced scoring. They're led by Rashad Hampton. After the next break, we'll give you the starters, but he's at 14.5 a game. But they have 3 guys, Xavier Riley, Drew Doyle, and Mikey Johnson, just a sophomore, right there nearly at double figures a game. So that they can put it on the boards as well.
And if depth is an issue tonight, advantage John Glenn. Because they can bring 4 or 5 kids off the bench and not lose much.
You're listening to high school tournament basketball here on WILE 97.7. We invite you to stick around. We're going to send it back to the studio for
quotes in a few minutes has your best interest in mind. Do they really know you and what coverages you need? Hi, this is John Valentine with Valentine Insurance. We take time to learn about you and your insurance needs so you can feel comfortable that you're receiving the right coverages at the best possible prices. Find us on Facebook, stop by our office, or give us a call at 994-1776. Valentine Insurance, a partner you can depend on.
Do you have taxiety? That twisted feeling inside knowing that doing taxes on your own can be a windy, complicated road. At Liberty Tax, our knowledgeable tax experts know the difference between W-2s, Schedule Cs, and 1098-Ts. Visit LibertyTax.com to schedule an appointment with Liberty Tax today to get your largest possible refund guaranteed. Liberty Tax will provide you the most accurate return and the largest possible refund you are entitled to receive. See website for details or visit a location.
People who come to Cricket stay with Cricket, just like our customer, Michelle.
As an entrepreneur, every day is different. My phone bill from Cricket, on the other hand, always stays the same. Without surprises, hidden fees, or annual contracts, I can work worry-free.
That's Michelle, everybody, doing business like a boss. Smile, you're on Cricket.
Real customer, paid for testimonial. See cricketwireless.com for details.
Our community is a special place, and you work hard to make a living and build a good life for you and your family. It's not always easy. You deserve a local financial partner to be there when you need them most. At Woodsfield Savings Bank, we live, work, and play here. Our cutting-edge technology combined with local decision-making allows us to deliver unmatched personal service. Let us start earning your trust today. Woodsfield Savings Bank. It's personal here.
I'm not buying till I checked on Ford.
Most of us are faced with uncertainty every day. Your job, your finances, sporting events, schooling for your children, and so much more. With so much uncertainty surrounding you, there's one auto dealership that you can be certain about, and that's Doan Ford. You can be certain that you'll always get a great deal and the best service afterwards. In business for nearly 60 years has given Doan Ford the reputation of being a strong, reliable dealership. Be certain. Choose Doan Ford. Online at doanford.com.
Now located at 16050 McConnellsville Road in Caldwell, Ohio. Patrons Buckeye Mutual Insurance Company is a mutual insurance company established in 1896 for the purpose of providing insurance coverage to rural Ohio. They offer a product to meet your insurance need, whether it is for a farm, rental dwelling, home in town, secondary or seasonal dwelling, churches, or mobile home. They partner with Grinnell Mutual Insurance Company to offer liability coverage to package with their patrons Buckeye Mutual policy. Call today at 638-3604 and follow them on Facebook. Facebook at Patrons Buckeye.
And welcome back, everyone. Howard Twiggs and Coach Mike Podlasiak. Glad to be a part of your evening. District 2 sectional/district basketball here. Division 2, let's take a look at the starting lineups. First for Zanesville, they'll go this way. Rashad Hampton, a 6-foot junior, 14.6 points per game. He leads the team in scoring. Xavier Riley, 6-foot senior at 9.9 points per game. Drew Doyle, 5'9 junior, 8.9 points per game. Mikey Johnson, a 5'11 sophomore at 8.1 points per game. And Maddox Hayes, a 6'1 junior, 4.5 points a game. Top three guys off the bench for the Blue Devils of Cedric Harris. Grayson Gowen, 6'2 sophomore at a point a game. Briar Harmon, a 6'3 senior, a couple of points a game. And Drake Tabler, a 5'11 junior, at a couple of points a game. And Coach, before we get into John Glenn, you like the point guard situation for Zanesville?
I watched him last week, and I tell you, he does a real good job running the offense, getting the ball to the places it needs to go to, handled the pressure really well that night. I really liked what he does on the court.
Well, he will be certainly needed tonight to handle the ball because we expect John Glenn to do the usual.
Baseline to baseline from start to finish.
For the Muskies, they'll go this way. It's Nathan Walker, a 6'3 senior, leads the team in scoring at 16.5 points per game. Caden Walls, a 6-foot senior at 9.3 points per game. Caleb Larrick, 6'6 junior, 7.5 points per game. Bexley Woodard, 6'3 senior, 7.8 points per game. And Will Nikolazakis, 5'8 sophomore at 4 points per game. Off the bench for the John Glenn Muskies, and Coach talked about this, they have depth. They have Steele Bates, a 5'11 freshman, 4 points a game. Noah Winland, 6'1 junior at 5 points per game. Lane Hall, 5'8 junior at a point a game. And C.J. Dolan, 5'11 freshman at a point a game. So here we go. Zanesville will be in the black uniforms with the white numerals and trim. John Glenn Muskies will be in the home white with the numerals of maroon and lettering just the same. So 8 minutes to go on the clock. We are ready to roll. Glad to be a part of your evening. John Glenn will be going right to left along your radio dial. Caleb Larrick will go up for the Muskies and Maddox Hayes for the Blue Devils. Donnie Giffen, one of the officials, taps it up, and it's in the hands of Zanesville. That's Drew Doyle, and looks like John Glenn's going to open up half court man-to-man, Coach.
No surprise. That's pretty much what they'll go pretty much the whole game. Played a little bit of matchup the other night against Steubenville.
Well, they will get it inside, double-teamed, and then kicking it back out to Rashad Hampton. He will go inside and lose it, so turnover goes to John Glenn. Let's see what Zanesville decides to do. Looks like they're going to fall back into straight man, try to pick up at half court. And that is Nikolazakis with the basketball. Goes on the right wing to the top to Woodard. Back on top to Larrick. Over to Caden Walls to Nathan Walker. Back to the top with Caden Walls. Being guarded man-to-man by Doyle. Shot on the way by Woodard. 3 ball, no good. Rebound on the floor by Woodard. He will put it up and give it in to Walker, and he will score off the easy layup. And there's the John Glenn pressure right away. It's going to be full court man. Let's see if they run and jump. They are going to try and jump right here along the sideline. Zanesville tries to get the ball ahead with Drew Doyle. Doyle crosses the timeline with the dribble. It's 2-0 in favor of John Glenn. Just beginning, 6:50 to go here in the first quarter. Late starter for Zanesville. Looks like they're going to start Goins inside. One of the bigger guys. That's Grayson Goins. Shot on the way is up, and it's good. That's Drew Doyle on the basket, tied at 2. John Glenn quickly back the other way. Walker in the corner, 3 ball on the way, no good. Rebound inside, and it will go to Zanesville. John Glenn stays with the pressure, and with the basketball back for the Blue Devils is Rashad Hampton. Woodard guards him in the half court over to Maddox Hayes.
Little flex action.
Yeah, I was going to say, we'll
offensively.
talk about that if we get a chance. Those flex cuts. Goins tries to drive inside and then kicks, and then another drive inside. Easy shot up on the way. Missed by Hayes. Offensive rebound. Goins has it rejected. Picks it back up, but steps on the out-of-bounds line. So Zanesville, with Goins being the late starter, trying to combat some of that size inside for Larrick. 5:52 to go, 2-2. Nikolazakis with the basketball, gets the screen from Larrick, drives in with the left hand and drives back out. Long ball on the way by Walker, no good. Rebounded by Zanesville. Here come the Blue Devils. And John Glenn picks them up immediately. Drive to the corner and then back out on top for Doyle. Doyle over to Goins. Long shot on the way is good. That's a triple by Mikey Johnson. And Zanesville has the lead, 5-2, 5:15 to go here in the second quarter. Make that Xavier Riley, by the way, for Zanesville. I apologize. On the inside and not Goins. Ball inside to Larrick. Larrick over to Woodard, back on top. Walker wide open, 3-ball, no good. Rebounded by the Blue Devils. Here they come. It's Drew Doyle. Doyle to the corner. Hampton on the way, 3-ball, no good. Rebound and a run out, so Bexley Woodard's going to have a wide open layup for John Glenn.
You got another
steal. Yep.
Step press.
And then Nikolazakis misses the layup, rebound tip, no. Rebound again by Woodard, and loose on the floor, and now a foul. Ouch. John Glenn, golden opportunity, just couldn't convert. 5-4, 4:36 to go here in the first quarter.
Nikolazakis just couldn't get himself squared up well enough to use the glass on that, wide open, uncontested layup. Good opportunity there for John Glenn to score. Let's slip through their fingers.
Here we go to Larrick along the baseline. Tries to muscle his way inside. Not there. Nice job defensively by Maddox Hayes. But now Larrick too strong and gets the easy layup. Caleb Larrick has his first two.
Little push off there to create some space for Larrick.
Here comes the pressure. And so far, Zanesville's handled it. Drew Doyle has it stripped away by John Glenn, and here comes Caden Walls. A danger point now, I think, for Zanesville as Caden Walls drives up the floor. I don't think they want to give up a three here. Very important for Zanesville to play some defense. Nikolazakis inside to Larrick. Ball knocked out of bounds. Substitution for John Glenn will be Noah Winland checking in, and he will replace Bexley Woodard.
Donnie Giffen appeared to have a little better view of that from where he was at and overruled the initial.
I agree. I thought it was off the.
I think that's good. That's good officiating right there to get together, make sure you get it right.
I thought Larrick had touched it also. It will go into Hampton. Hampton has it rejected by Larrick and then knocked out of bounds. Wow. Rashad Hampton going strong, but Caleb Larrick just a little bit stronger.
I tell you, good job by Larrick that time, just staying on his feet, the hands straight up, and didn't try to swat at it because that usually constitutes an automatic foul.
6-5. Hampton, long shot on the way, no good. Rebounded by Nikolazakis. 6-5 in favor of John Glenn. Quick moving first quarter, 3:30 to go. And Nikolazakis over two.
That's Noah Winland, I believe.
Noah Winland. Nikolazakis back inside, and a hold will go against Xavier Riley. That will be his first, team's second. Officiating crew tonight, Ron Frame, Aaron Wall, and Donnie Giffen. Giffen's certainly been around a long time.
Steele Bates, the freshman, into the lineup, replacing Larry for the Little Muskies.
John Glenn will go a little bit smaller. Inbound will go to Bexley Woodard. Will make that Nathan Walker. Nathan Walker has his second basket. And a steal by John Glenn.
Third turnover here in the first quarter by the Blue Devils.
And Walls will have some trouble. Looks like a travel. And we'll go back to Zanesville. So Blue Devils in a little bit of a scoring drought here. 8-5. They trail. 3:07 to go here in the first quarter. It looks okay now, but Mike, it just feels like they're right on the edge.
They are.
Yep, nearly a steal by Nikolazakis that time, and I think we're going to get a foul called.
Zanesville probably pretty fortunate right here because John Glenn has not come out shooting the ball very well at all.
No. Yeah, like I say, I somewhat think Zanesville's really at a dangerous point here this time. John Glenn will inbound the basketball. with 3:06 to go here in the first quarter. 8-5, John Glenn leads.
Substitution for Zanesville. They've got Grayson Goins in the game replacing Riley.
That's one of the new guys for Zanesville that we anticipate playing some tonight. Back on top to Nicholas Zakis. Nicholas Zakis to the right side. Over to Dolan. Inside it will go to Walker. Nice little pass to Woodard. And Woodard has his second basket. And there's the timeout that we thought might.
You said you mentioned it, starting that possession, and I think Coach Harris sees the same thing you're seeing.
Yeah, I think it's a matter of not only just not hitting shots for Zanesville. I don't think they were playing defense in the half court the way I think Coach Harris wanted them to play. Not just because of that little easy backdoor layup, but John Glenn just had too much their own way of the dribble drive penetration.
Right. Plus that full court pressure, John Glenn, I think, has gotten the Blue Devils a little out of sync offensively, not really able to get in any kind of sets offensively.
And with 2:43 to go here in the first quarter, John Glenn burns the timeout. It has been nearly 3 minutes since the Blue Devils have scored, and man, they need one here. They're going to have a 1-4 press offense, which is going to allow John Glenn to bring everybody up and probably get a pretty quick double team. And a foul called. That will go on the Muskies. That's Steele Bates trying to slap the ball down instead of slapping the ball up. And
Howard, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Rashard Hampton played at Maysville last year on that team, didn't he?
Yeah, I believe you are correct.
Somebody told me I think he's a transfer. Can you imagine him on that team?
Yeah, my goodness. Another steal by John Glenn, and another foul goes against the Blue Devils. That's going to be on Drew Doyle. It should be a shooting free throw for John Glenn.
Boy, nice defensive play there by the freshman Bates. When he came in the other night against Steubenville, he provided a nice little spark for the Muskies.
Well, they're going to say not a shooting foul. So 2:37, ball inside. Look, now a long shot on the way for three is good. That's Nathan Walker. He has 7, and the lead is ballooned to 13-5. Zanesville still in trouble, trying to get off the mat right here. Double team at midcourt. They will drive. Shot on the way is good.
Boy, they needed that big time.
Boy, that's Rashad Hampton with an answer. That's his first basket. And then back the other way, Bates. Bates out on top to the long shot. Shot no good. Rebounded on the floor by Noah Winland. Winland over to Bexley Woodard. He will go to Noah Winland. Back on top. Long shot on the way. No good. Rebounded inside by John Glenn. Shot up is good. That's Steele Bates. That's that freshman that Coach was talking about.
He doesn't play like a freshman on the court.
He's going to have a bright future. There's that double at mid-team. Hampton trying to do it all himself. Misses the shot. Offensive rebound up. No good.
Couldn't get it to go.
That rebounded by John Glenn. Here come the Muskies on the run. Bates over to Woodard. Back to Bates. Bates tries to look inside to get Walker on the post-up. He will drive instead the whole way. And shot up, no good. Offensive rebound now knocked away, and it belongs to Zanesville. Nearly another steal. Here come the Blue Devils on the run. 1 minute to go, first quarter, trailing 15-7. Rashad Hampton has the 2 points. Drew Doyle has a basket. He is having the basketball. Shot up, it's a nice one, it's good. 15-9, Zanesville needed that one. Nicholas Zakis and Bates, rather. Out on top to Nathan Walker. Walker. Back over to Bates. On top to Wynn. Looks like they're going to play for one, Coach. 30 seconds to go, first quarter.
I've watched them play enough. I think that's what they're going to try to do. I don't know if they can hold the ball that long because they like to shoot it.
Yeah, they like to get up and down the floor. So 20 seconds to go, and Nathan Walker just taking his time. And Coach Sheck says, hey, come on, let's go. He's pointing to run some offense. Walker to this point, not there. So he gets the back screen from Winland. And looks like he's just going to try and do it himself. And he will go back door, and it's rejected. Ouch.
Wow.
Yeah, Steele Bates thought he had one there on the back door from Walker, and the boom.
Good help
Hampton.
side, good help side defense there from Hampton.
Well, John Glenn perhaps missed opportunity there with the ball. With 1.9 seconds to go, they had the ball with 30 seconds. Couldn't convert an easier shot. Bates inbound, long shot on the way for Woodard, no good. That will end the first quarter. It's John Glenn 15 and Zanesville 9 on WILE 97.7. We'll be back in 60.
Is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Susan, it's so great to finally be able to get together again.
Oh, it sure is. And I really appreciate you picking up the bill.
I'm happy to. I've got the extra cash. Since we've all been driving so much more again, I've been using Upside, the free app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the Upside app?
Yes. I get real cash back just for buying the gas I was going to buy anyway.
But is it a hassle to use?
No. It's super fast and easy, and I can cash out whenever I want.
That's a total no-brainer. I'm downloading the free Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code HEAT for an extra 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's promo code HEAT. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, to PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code HEAT for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code HEAT.
Back to second quarter. And Mike, what kind of numbers do we have in the first quarter?
I had John Glenn from the field 7 out of 18, but only 1 out of 8 from behind the arc, which is not very good for them. They normally much better shooting team. Zanesville, on the other hand, 4 out of 10, 40%, 1 out of 3 from behind the arc. The big difference first quarter was Zanesville turned the ball over 5 times as opposed to only once for the Little Muskies.
So we begin second quarter. John Glenn going right to left with the basketball. On the right wing is Lane Hall, knocked out of bounds, and it will go with the Blue Devils. And John Glenn stays in that familiar press. Blue Devils have won 6 of the last 10. They are 7-15 on the season. John Glenn 12-11 on the season. And with the basketball and under some pressure is Drew Doyle. Doyle meets the double team, tries to dribble his way out of it, almost triple team, and then goes to the left wing. Shot on the way for 3 is no good, and rebounded on the floor to John Glenn. Zanesville's got to hit those in the easy, wide open area. It's Walker, drives to the corner, back on top to Caden Walls. Walls holds, being guarded by Hampton. Now he'll go inside to Larrick. Larrick tries to muscle his way in, and not there.
Oh, nice job defensively by Hayes that time.
Yep, he will kick back on top. It's Caden Walls. Walls holds at the high post. He will hit a fadeaway. No good. Rebounded offensively by Larrick. Larrick, again, tries to go up top. Can't do it. Now he'll get it. Just too big, too strong, and we thought that was going to be a big key.
Good patience shown that time by Larrick down in the post.
Rashad Hampton crosses the timeline, splits the double, and picks up a cheapie. And I think Zanesville, what I think they look like they're going to do, Mike, correct me if I'm wrong, is they're not going to mess around passing the ball side to side against the press. Just go straight ahead.
They're going to try to get the ball either in Doyle or Hampton's hands and just let them go.
Get it
and that's probably not a bad philosophy.
No. Yeah, that's twice now in this first half. Second quarter, they get it and go. It will now be Drew Doyle. Doyle being guarded in the half court by Lane Hall. Doyle will drive to the left, inside off glass, no good. Tough shot, offensive rebound, no good. Defensive rebound and a tie-up. Boy, Zanesville's really missed some great opportunities. They trail 17-9 with 6:27 to go here in.
You're right, the shot's contested a little bit inside, but if you're going to come in here and pull the upset tonight, those are shots you've got to make.
Absolutely. And those are the shots they haven't made. And they have it unbounding under their own basket.
Mikey Johnson back in the lineup, replacing Drake Tabler.
Mikey had the 3 in the first half. And Zanesville will hold on the left side, back on top to Briar Harmon, who's checked in. And back now with the basketball, Drew Doyle. Doyle drives inside, shot up, is knocked out of bounds by Larrick. Well, I'll tell you, the other adjustment Zanesville's gotten here in the second quarter, coaches, go right to the hoop.
They are, yeah.
Just stop screwing around, going side to side, up and down, horizontal, vertical. Just go drive to the basket.
Try to clear that lane out, and I tell you what, Doyle's done a nice job getting there. He just hasn't been able to finish.
Rashad Hampton has it swatted away by Larrick. That sends a message. Caden Walsh back the other way, no good. Rebounded by Walker. It's up, it's good. And the first double-figure lead of the night, 19-9, in favor of John Glenn.
That's 7 offensive rebounds so far for the little Muskies here, and we're just early into the second quarter.
Drew Doyle, triple team, he'll drive through, pull up from 15, no good. Rebounded by John Glenn. Here come the Muskies. It's Nathan Walker, coast to coast. Has it rejected, then knocked out of bounds. It will stay with John Glenn. Well, the pace also is really favoring John Glenn now, Coach.
This is the way they want to play. Yeah, they've got it the way they want it. And
yeah, I think in part it's because Zanesville's missed so many shots. They're actually pressing. Walker inside, back to Walls. Walls loses it, picks it back up. Now held ball, now picked up by Walker, stolen away, and then given back to Bexley Woodard to Walls. Walls 3-ball on the way, no good. Rebounded by Zanesville. And here they come with Rashad Hampton. Hampton will go inside. Shot up is no good. That's Maddox Hayes, and my goodness, how bad is it getting for Zanesville? 2-on-1, here comes Caden Walls, it's good. Yeah, another timeout, Coach.
Yeah, good timeout there by Coach Harris. This game's about to get away from him.
Yeah, the score is 21-9, 4:59 to go here in the first half. This is going to give us a chance to recognize some of our great sponsors, by the way. Doan Ford, Valentine Insurance, Patrons Buckeye Mutual Insurance, West 40 Auto Sales, and WB Green Insurance. So the situation is this, 21-9, Zanesville has been outscored in the second quarter 6-0, and John Glenn really having their own way, especially on the boards as you're talking.
Yeah, so far I think Zanesville's 0 of 7, and they're able to get shots, but I don't think they're quality shots, Howard. I mean, everything's contested right now. John Glenn doing a real good job defensively. When the ball gets inside, they've always got a hand in their face, body up against them.
What I see happening, Mike, is what you're saying, that they're not really running a continuity offense where they're, pass and cut, screen, ball screen, back screen, this, that, and the other. They're just attacking the basket. But two things are happening. John Glenn's interior defense is really giving it to them, number one. Number two is they're missing shots.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line. But I suppose you got to keep at it, yeah.
And they forced Zanesville to play a little quicker, I'm sure, than what they really want to right now.
Here's Doyle with the ball. John Glenn in the straight-up man-to-man. Here comes the double. Doyle crosses the timeline. Nearly another steal. Dangerous pass. With the ball is Mikey Johnson. He'll go to the corner. And then back with the ball is Johnson. Johnson picks it up. Goes to Hampton. Rashad Hampton drives inside. Left hand. Turnaround shot on the way. No good. Rebounded by Zanesville. That's Briar Harmon. Back on top to Drew Doyle. Doyle backs it up, so Zanesville taking their time, trying to be a little bit more patient, maybe run some offense on this trip. Long ball, no good on the three by Doyle. Rebounded to John Glenn. Here come the Muskies. Nikolazakis to steal Bates. Bates drives the baseline back to Nikolazakis. He will go inside, pull up the Nate. Too easy. That's an easy basket for Nikolazakis. 23-9. John Glenn leads Zanesville here. 4:01 to go in the second quarter. With the basketball are the Blue Devils. And they will go on the inbounds pass. Back to Doyle. Doyle looks at the double team, then crosses over right to left. Bounce pass across the timeline. He will go to Johnson. Back to Hampton, long ball on the way, in and out, no good. Rebounded to John Glenn. Here come the Muskies. And that is Walker to Walls. Walls all the way, has it rejected, but a foul. That will go against Maddox Hayes. That will be his second. And should be a couple of free throws coming for Walls. It'll be the first free throws of the game.
I can't believe we've gone this far in the game, and the pace that they're playing, and this is the first time somebody's been to free throw line.
Yeah. 5 team fouls now on Zanesville, just 2 for John Glenn. First free throw by Walls is good. 23-9, couple of subs in for Zanesville. That's Drake Tabler in the lineup, and Xavier Riley has returned. Rashad Hampton takes a seat, just 2 points. And you can bet he'll be back before this second quarter is expired. 3:37 to go, 24-9. Make it 24-9 as they miss it, but Walls on his own rebound, gets it up and gets it in. He has 5 this second quarter, 26-9. No checkout that time by the Blue Devils. Same press offense for Zanesville, very, very dangerous. Now they're going to stay as Zanesville, but they're inbounding it to the corner, and then they're trying to lob it back to the inbounder.
You can't do that, Jay.
No,
as quick as John Glenn is, that gives him time to recover defensively.
Yeah, stepping into the passing lane. Here's trouble, as John Glenn that time has the double on a quick inbounds pass to Zanesville the other way, and that was the double team on Xavier Riley. So John Glenn turning up the pressure a little bit more.
And Howard, with the depth of John Glenn, they're able to constantly bring fresh kids back in all the time. So there's no give with that pressure.
And the basketball in the hands of Drew Doyle. Here comes the double team. Here's another steal. They've just thrown it in the passing lanes. Layup missed that time by Dolan and rebounded to Zanesville. Doyle, double team. Tries to dribble out of it and steps on the sideline. Yeah, the press offense for a while, they were just trying to get it and go, but John Glenn has made some adjustments as well.
Yes, they have Hampton back into the lineup. They got to have him in there to help with that pressure.
But Zanesville, and to the credit of John Glenn, they're just throwing telegraphed passes.
Yes.
You can't throw 20-foot passes horizontal. Somebody's going to step into that passing lane. John Glenn with the basketball. Zanesville scoreless here in this second quarter. Inside, there's an easy basket.
Nice pass inside.
That's Noah Winland's first basket. 28-9. It is a total blitz. Nearly another steal and maybe a foul called instead of jump ball. I think Donnie Giffen will say jump ball possession arrow to Zanesville. So Zanesville really, I think one of the things they're going to have to do at halftime is shape up some of that press offense. Inbound to Grayson Goins, who's checked in. Back to Doyle. Doyle has had to work really hard here in this first half. 28-9, Zanesville trails. And a little cheapy out on the perimeter. Foul called against John Glenn.
A little too much contact right there by Nicholas August.
That will be his second. He will take a seat and he'll be replaced by Nelson Cameron for the Muskies. It's 28-9. It has been all Muskies, 13-0. Nice inbounds pass, up an easy shot that time for Grayson Goins. That stops the bleeding a little bit. Cameron to Walls, Caden Walls. Dribbles to the right, tries to take his man, then goes to the corner. Back out on top in the hands of Bexley Woodard. Long shot on the way, no good. Rebounded on the floor, picked up by Zanesville. Here comes Doyle, and Doyle will spin into the lane. No good, but draws the contact. He should go to the line for a couple of free throws. That's Nelson Cameron's, his first, team's fourth here in the first half. Drew Doyle will go to the line for a pair. He has 4 points. He is the leading scorer for the Blue Devils. First one on the way is good. One more coming, 28-12. John Glenn leads Zanesville. And one more coming for Doyle. Eyes the second one. Got it. Good free throw shooting. He has 6. 28-13. Zanesville with a 4-point run. Makes it a little bit more respectable. And John Glenn with the basketball. It's Cameron. Dribbles out on top over to Caden Walls. Walls trying to direct the offense. It looks like with 1:40, John Glenn may run some clock again, Coach.
If Zanesville stays in that zone right now, I'm not really putting much pressure on the basketball. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't take some time off. But they're in control of this basketball game. There's no need for them to rush anything.
No, 1:20 to go. Zanesville sits back. John Glenn plays keep away. And they have the lead 28-13, not in a hurry. Inside look. And now a long ball on the way, and then a look inside to Walls. Walls quadruple team kicks it back out to shot for no good for Walker, but offensive rebound by John Glenn. 1 minute to go here in the first half. 28-13 in favor of the Muskies. Trying to move on to
Bates just wanted that rebound more than what the Zanesville player did.
Bates, as a freshman that Coach talked about earlier. It's Walker in the corner, back on top to Walls with 40 seconds to go. This has to be frustrating for Zanesville too. You want the basketball, and you're down 15, and boy, they're just playing. Let me keep the ball.
And they're running around wasting a lot of energy, and they don't go nearly as deep off the bench as what John Glenn does.
Kick, and it will stay with the Muskies.
Back door cut there by Woodard, just not able to get it through to him.
Drake Tabor will re-enter the lineup for Mikey Johnson for Zanesville. Johnson sits down.
So I think Coach Shukia calls a timeout, wanting to set something up here right for the last shot of here, the second quarter.
It's 28-13. It's a 30-second timeout for John Glenn. They're being led in this first half by Nathan Walker with 9, Caden Walls with 5, Bexley Woodard and Brandon Larrick with 4 each. For the Blue Devils, they're on top with Drew Doyle of 6 and Mikey Johnson with 3. So, Coach, you've got 20 seconds or so. You've got your choice. Do you want Walker with the basketball on the drive, or do you try to go inside to Walker?
I think you get Walker the basketball, let him attack the basket, because you've got 2 or 3 other shooters there in the lineup. Let them kind of spot up out on the perimeter if somebody picks him up. He's a smart basketball player. He'll find somebody that's open. And here's the thing you want right now in this situation, you want the last second shot.
Absolutely.
You don't want Zanesville to get the basketball back before the end of this second quarter.
And you want Walker to have it in his hands.
Exactly.
He will be guarded in the half court by Grayson Goins. That's a tough matchup. Walker stationed near the free throw stripe, sets a screen, and can't get it on the inbounds, and now finally does get it. Walker tries to clear everybody out, then go one-on-one with Grayson. Bounce pass, kicked, and still stays with John Glenn.
Made a no-look pass that time, ill-advised. Luckily, it went off the leg there of Xavier Riley, as far as the little Muskies were concerned.
Yeah, this is that point where you want to take the last shot, but you got a good look.
Yeah. If you get a layup, I think you take that, but that's all you want to take right here.
Walker, left-hand drill. Now they'll go inside. Nikolazakis
couldn't get squared up and get a good look at it.
Misses a rebound, then a silly foul by Nikolazakis, and I think that's going to be his third.
He tried to use the glass that time. It came in an angle. It was impossible.
Yeah, that's a tough shot. What's that old rule we put into place? If you can't dunk it, use the square.
And I don't think there's very many guys here who are just going to dunk it.
That's why we said that, didn't we?
Yes.
Zanesville's going to have a breakaway. It's going to go on the trip, no basket, but a foul. It's Mikey Johnson with 2.4 seconds, so John Glenn selling completely out. They had nobody back, and Mikey Johnson gets a couple of free throws.
It's a good job by Johnson that time, attacking the glass. Like you said, nobody back there.
Bexley Woodard on the personal foul. A couple of free throws coming for Johnson. It's good. Zanesville 3 of 3 free throw shooting. So, it's 28-14. The game still within reach for Zanesville. They just had a horrible start to the second quarter. Let's face it. At one point, they went scoreless for about 4 minutes, but they're hanging in there depending on this free throw.
They've done a little better job this second quarter handling the basketball against that press of John Glenn.
Second free throw is good also. And John Glenn will dribble it out. That's going to end the first half. That's an exciting first half as John Glenn leads at the break 28-15. They outscored Zanesville 13-6 in that second quarter after the first quarter where it was 15-9 in favor of the Muskies. Again, you're listening to high school basketball on WILE 97.7. Thanks to our great sponsors, Doan Ford, Valentine Insurance, Patrons Buckeye Mutual Insurance, West 40 Auto Sales, and WB Green Insurance. We're going to step aside for a moment or two. When we come back, we'll have some halftime conversation. Stay with us.
I was sitting in my car, and it wouldn't start. I lifted the hood, and the engine was falling apart. What would I do? My eyes filled with tears. Then on the radio, I heard of West 40 by Pay here, where for a little money down and a little each week, I could have a car, nice, shiny, and sleek. So I walked in the door, and I put the money down. Now I got a nice car that I can drive around. West 40 by Pay here will help rebuild your credit. The corner of Dewey and Route 40 in Cambridge, don't you forget it.
West 40 Auto Sales, corner of Route 40 and Dewey Avenue in Cambridge, is home of the guaranteed credit approval, with most loans approved while you wait. Go to their website to fill out an online loan application, west40autosales.com. You'll also find their weekly special listed there.
Our community is a special place, and you work hard to make a living and build a good life for you and your family. It's not always easy. You deserve a local financial partner to be there when you need them most. At Woodsfield Savings Bank, we live, work, and play here. Our cutting-edge technology combined with local decision-making allows us to deliver unmatched personal service. Let us start earning your trust today. Woodsfield Savings Bank. It's personal here.
In your time of need, will you be happy with your cut-rate car insurance? Will you have the coverages you need? Valentine Insurance is dedicated to protecting you and your family when you need it. As an independent insurance agency, we have partnered with many reputable insurance companies who even have local claims adjusters to provide you with unbeatable service. Are you going to trust a talking lizard to help you with your claim? Really? Don't let this happen to you. Trust the professionals at Valentine Insurance. Call 994-1776.
I'm not buying till I check Doan Ford.
Most of us are faced with uncertainty every day. Your job, your finances, sporting events, schooling for your children, and so much more. With so much uncertainty surrounding you, there's one auto dealership that you can be certain about, and that's Doan Ford. You can be certain that you'll always get a great deal and the best service afterwards. In business for nearly 60 years has given Doan Ford the reputation of being a strong, reliable dealership. Be certain. Choose Doan Ford. Online at DoanFord.com.
Promises. You've heard them all. Peace of mind, quality insurance products, superior claim service, all at a fair and competitive price. Since 1848, Westfield Insurance has promised to provide excellent insurance coverage for your home, auto, and business. Sharing knowledge, building trust. That is Westfield Insurance's pledge to their customers. For a quote on protecting your home, auto, and business, call WB Green Insurance today. WB Green, professional insurance.
Halftime here at John Glenn High School, where the Muskies lead Zanesville 28-15. This is the sectionals of the Ohio Division II Eastern District combined sectional and district. Howard Twiggs and Coach Mike Podlasiak. And Plaz, before I give you the scoring numbers, what about stats in the first half?
Not very good shooting, really, by either team. John Glenn was able to get a lot more shots off than what the Blue Devils were, though. I had the Little Muskies for the first half, 13 out of 32 from the field, 41%. But they're normally a little better three-point shooting team than what they've shown tonight. Only 1 out of 11, 9% from behind the arc. So Zanesville probably lucky that John Glenn's not shooting the ball any better than they are, or they would have a bigger deficit here at halftime than the 13 points that they're seeing right now. On the other side, the Blue Devils really struggled, especially there in the second quarter. They missed their first 9 shots of the second quarter, only hit 1 out of 11 for the entire quarter. Overall in the first half, they were 5 out of 21, only 24%. 8 turnovers for the Blue Devils, not surprising. And only 2 for the Little Muskies. And off the glass, again, dominated by the Little Muskies in the first half. I had them for 20, 10 offensive and 10 defensive rebounds. And the Blue Devils checked in with 12 overall, 4 offensively and 8 defensively. So, as evidenced by the score, first half pretty much dominated stat-wise also by the John Glenn Little Muskies.
13-point lead for John Glenn. Let's go over the individual scoring for Zanesville. Rashad Hampton had a basket for 2. Xavier Riley started, did not score. Drew Doyle, their leading scorer, is 2 field goals, 2 of 2 from the line for 6. Mikey Johnson started, had a tray and 2 free throws for 5. Maddox Hayes started, did not score. Grayson Goins off the bench for a basket and 2. For the Muskies, they were led by Nathan Walker, 3 twos and a tray for 9. Brandon Larrick, a couple of baskets for 4. Caden Walls, 2 baskets, 1 of 2 from the line for 5. Brandon Woodard, a couple of baskets for 4. Will Nikolazakis, who also had the 3 fouls, had a basket for 2 off the bench. Steele Bates, 2, and Noah Winland, 2. Also, C.J. Dolan played, Nelson Cameron played. They did not score. So, some work to do for Zanesville, Mike. Where do you start?
That's a great question, and I don't know. Sometimes you just don't have as much talent to match up with what the other team's doing. And the big thing is just the havoc that John Glenn creates with that full court pressure. And the Blue Devils are really struggling with that. And I don't know, to me, they've only looks like they've got 2 kids, Hampton and Doyle, that really have the capability of dealing with that. And that hurts.
And really, Mike, it's a bad question on my part, because when I ask what do you do, there's nothing you can do, because John Glenn only plays one way.
Yeah.
And if you can't beat their press with your press offense, you are not going to win the basketball game. And to this point of the basketball game at the half, Zanesville has not consistently attacked it in a way that you could say, okay, keep doing that, fellas.
Coach Harris is not thinking, boy, I hope they take that press off in the second half. That is not going to happen.
No.
What you see is what you get.
If you've seen the Muskies, buddy, they're going 84 feet the entire way. And
with the like we mentioned before, the depth that they have coming off the bench, they don't lose anything. I mean, they stay fresh, and they get up in your face. The Blue Devils are having a hard time getting quality looks at the basket.
Yeah, give John Glenn credit. Again, it's not necessarily the game plan. It's what they do, and what they do has done well tonight against Zanesville. Not that the game's over. I mean, Zanesville's got a chance, but they're going to have to do 2 things. Easy to say, difficult to do. Number 1 is run a press offense. Number 2 is they've got to make some shots.
They do, yes.
Otherwise it's not going to happen. So let's move ahead, Mike, if we might, while we have a couple of minutes. The winner of this game, and let's project right now, it could be John Glenn, will play the winner of New Philly and West Holmes, who are currently playing. They will match up in a district game. I believe it's March 1st.
Yes.
John Glenn lost to New Philly. What kind of problems would New Philly present this John Glenn team?
I've not had a chance to see New Philly this year, Howard, so I really don't know. Obviously, if they're the number 2 seed amongst 21 teams here in the Division II bracket of the Eastern District, they must have a pretty good basketball team.
Well, New Philly, let's just look at the game, won 57-43. That would tell me that John Glenn did not have an effective press. If you were only getting 43 points, it sounds like most of that came in the half-court situation.
And evidently, maybe New Philly has a little better ball handlers that could do it. And here's the thing: if you had a little more size, where you could dump it down inside once in a while against the Little Muskies, that might be a benefit to Zanesville. But they don't have that. They don't have the size where they can hurt them. And maybe Philly has that going for them. Like I said, I've not seen them. From what I've heard, they must be a pretty good basketball team and very well coached.
Again, 21 teams in that sectional drawing for the Ohio Division II district in the East. So when you get the number 2 seed, you've obviously done very well. John Glenn 7, so they've had a good season, have the Muskies. And we will find out what the second half is going to bring, because we are set to begin. So John Glenn with the 28-15 lead. And I believe the basketball will be in the possession of John Glenn.
And getting back to the tournament situation, Howard, those at home that aren't familiar, there are actually 2 teams that will advance to regional play this year from the Eastern District. The top seed in the other bracket were the Maysville Panthers, first seed overall in the Eastern District, and they are playing Meadowbrook tonight in their opening sectional game.
And one would think that Maysville at home will come out on top. We shall find out. Backcourt violation goes against Bexley Woodard with the basketball, so Zanesville gets the turnover.
And when they get breaks like that, they are going to have to take advantage of that situation. They need to convert down here at the offensive end.
Inbounds pass from Hampton over to Doyle. Doyle with the left-handed to right-handed crossover. Bounce pass to Hampton at the high post. He will drive inside. Shot up. No good. Boy, that has just killed him tonight. Larrick with the rebound. Walls back the other end. Driving inside to Walker. And an easy pass to Larrick. And that, my friends, says a lot.
Nice pass inside. Nice look there by Walker. I tell you, he fills up a stat sheet.
Yeah.
He's not only their leading scorer, also leading rebounder and assist man.
Walker, or I should say Hampton on the drive, misses another one. Rebounded by John Glenn, stolen away by Doyle. And here comes Zanesville back the other way in a hurry. And let's see if they want to play at this pace. Not sure they do. Shot on the baseline by Mikey Johnson's good.
I've lost you.
John Glenn with the basketball. They will dribble.
There it is.
Over to Walker, to Walls. Walls on the baseline. And kicks back out on top. And it will go to Woodard. Woodard to Nikolazakis in the corner. 3-ball on the way is good. 33-17. John Glenn stays with the pressure. That's Rashad Hampton, held to just 2 points here in this basketball game by the Muskies. And that's Xavier Riley. Riley dribbles on the left side, and then nearly a steal, and then picked up by Doyle, and kicked out of bounds. Back to John Glenn. You know, I just kind of looking at Zanesville right now. A little bit of frustration on the part for the Blue Devils.
Did a better job. You know, you mentioned they need to be throwing the ball down the court, which they did that time. They did a little better job, but the half-court pressure then got to them that time.
Yeah. Let's see. They'll try to pick up a little further in their man, will the Blue Devils. It's Hampton on Walls. Walls between the legs dribble over to Nikolazakis in the corner to Walker. Walker inside to Woodard, and it's easy.
Great pass inside by the senior Walker.
35-17. Hampton double team, gets help from Drew Doyle. Doyle throws it down to Johnson. Ball in the corner, long shot on the way is good. That's a triple by Xavier Riley. Boy, they needed that. 35-20.
You know, and they're going to have to take more risks, I think, like that too, Howard. Just come down, and there's no use waiting to set it up because that just gives John Glenn's defense time to set up.
Yeah.
If you break it, you got a wide open look. You got to take a shot at it.
Long ball on the way is no good. Rebounded by Zanesville. That was Woodard. And Zanesville a little bit of life, down 15. Plenty of time here in this third quarter. Double team at midcourt to Doyle. Doyle bounce pass.
Nice
Easy inside is good. That's Maddox Hayes. And Zanesville now. A little bit of momentum. 35-22.
3 straight baskets here by the Blue Devils.
And Walls. And over to Winland, who's checked in. Walls, left to right dribble. Drives inside. Shot up is a foul, and that's going to go against Maddox Hayes. And I believe that will be number 3 on Hayes.
Yes, it is. I'll tell you, he's one kid that's done a pretty nice job inside. They cannot afford to lose Maddox.
I think they're probably going to have to keep him on the floor with the 3 personals. Walls, free throws good. And one more coming. Yep, they're going to sit him. Maddox Hayes is going to sit for perhaps the rest of the quarter, Mike, with the 3 fouls. I don't know. You don't have a tomorrow in this one.
Right.
Huh?
I'm sure that Coach Harris that's going to be dictated by what happens here, you know, the next 2 or 3 minutes, where you can afford to keep him on the bench. Like you said, there's no tomorrow.
Yeah.
You have to play him.
Yeah, you foul out. Second free throw good by Walls. He has 7, 3 or 4 from the line. Zanesville faces the pressure, and now Doyle asks for some help. Inbound to Hampton, back to Doyle. Long pass to Johnson to the corner. 3-ball on the way is good.
Again, just like the last time.
That's Xavier Riley spotting up twice now. 37-25. Walls brings the ball back out on top. So Zanesville with back-to-back trays to the corner. Yeah, lots of Zanesville fans now chapping and clearing, and then inside pass to Larrick and an easy layup.
And especially with Maddox Hayes out of the lineup, that makes it even easier for Larrick to get position down in there.
It's Doyle. He will drive to the basket, kick to the corner, three on the way. He's good!
Another one.
That's Xavier Riley. And a timeout by John Glenn. I'll tell you what, extra lunch in the cafeteria this week for Riley, huh? The others on lunch duty.
He has found his spot.
He is in that left corner. He has drained 3 straight trays. It's 39-28. So everything, don't you love basketball, Mike? Everything Zanesville has done not so good tonight. Everything John Glenn has done so very well tonight, and all of a sudden it's a game.
You feel like this ought to be about a 20-point deficit, but they've cut it down now to 11, so they've knocked 2 points off a halftime lead, and they're starting to feel good about themselves. If they can just hold on long enough to where they can get Maddox Hayes back in the lineup to give them at least a little presence down inside, that'd be a big benefit here for the Blue Devils.
One of the things I've noticed that Zanesville's doing a better job of is they're avoiding the trap situation on the inbounds pass. They're getting rid of the ball pretty quickly, and then they're just flying it down the floor, and Xavier Riley's just spotting up on the back end of the press, and hey.
Well, when you've got the ball double team, somebody has to be open, and they've done a real nice job of finding that open person here to start the second half. 39-28.
John Glenn coming out of the timeout has the ball.
Zanesville going to go some full court pressure here.
How about this? Looks like straight man. Will they double? Yeah, they're going to try and double. Nearly a steal by Hampton. But it's going to be a 3-on-1. Here it comes back the other way, and then a travel. Well, that goes against Woodard. So Zanesville pushes John Glenn to the limit on that one, and the Muskies turn it over.
Turnabout's fair play.
How about that one?
3 turnovers so far in the third quarter by the Little Muskies. Only 2 the whole first half.
Yep. That's Rashad Hampton now taking a shot at the point. And he is being guarded the whole night by Caden Walls. Walls has done a pretty good job. He gets the screen. And now on top to Xavier Riley. Riley over to Doyle. Doyle drives inside, pulls from 18 and no good. Rebounded by Zanesville. Back to Hampton. Hampton will go inside. Shot no good. Rebounded by John Glenn. Here come the Muskies and Nathan Walker. Walker to Walls. Walls thinks about the triple and then decides to drive inside. Shot up. That's going to be offense. Yep. Nice job by Xavier Riley that time.
He stood his ground, got good position. Another turnover by the Little Muskies.
39-28. John Glenn leads. Zanesville with the basketball. 3:09 to go here in the third quarter.
They've got the opportunity now to get it down to a single-digit deficit, which you know is that's huge.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That's a psychological thing for a kid.
It's Mikey Johnson crosses the timeline with the dribble, and back over to Doyle. Keep in mind they've done this without Maddox Hayes, one of their interior guys. Back to hand up. They're going to keep it with Doyle, and a dangerous pass, but picked up by Xavier Riley and in. Riley with 8, 39-30. Zanesville, what a comeback.
Kind of an ill-advised pass, but was able to get through there, and the Devils took care of it.
That's Steele Bates being harassed. Will dribble out with the left hand over to Walker. Walker slows things down for John Glenn. Tries to take Riley off the dribble. Bounce pass inside to Dolan's good. And Lane Hall make it. Lane Hall with his first basket. 41-30. John Glenn really needed that one.
Nice reverse layup there by Hall.
Rashad Hampton. Ooh, on top, Drew.
Steele Bates almost had another steal there.
Drew Doyle. Let's see, Zanesville's going to try and set some offense now. And they will go to the right side for Xavier Riley. Riley drives inside, kicks inside, and then it's good. Nice little dump pass to Grayson Goins. 41-32.
So much more confidence right now.
Yeah, getting the ball inside. Cheap foul that time, not the advised.
Touch foul on top.
Grayson Goins commits the little cheapie out there, and he'd like to have that one back, but it was a good call.
Woodard back in place, replacing Larrick in the lineup for the Little Muskies.
Larrick sits down with 8 points for John Glenn.
Nobody really in foul trouble here at this point. We're at 1:48 to go in the third quarter.
And Drew Doyle has sat down for the final 4 minutes here with the 3 fouls, so they should have him fresh in the fourth. On top to Woodard. Woodard over to Hall, back on top to Woodard. Gets the screen from Walker, and then back to Woodard. Woodard drives left, on top to Walker. Nathan Walker holds, looks, dribbles, left to right crossover, spin dribble, travels, no call.
Yeah, that's right, no call.
And then inside to Woodard. Woodard on the baseline, back on top to Steele Bates. And it looks like John Glenn's going to play for 1 again.
Zanesville doing a nice job defensively, holding their positions.
And it's going to be Walker, double teamed, and a foul. And it's going to go on Drew Doyle.
Good idea by Doyle. He came from behind on the double team.
Yeah. And now they're going to bring, the Blue Devils are going to bring Drew Doyle back in.
For Maddox Hayes.
Yeah, for the final 102. What do you think with the 3 fouls? Okay?
The way they've been playing, I might have held him out for the rest of the quarter, but because you don't want him to pick up a chip. Oh,
inside pass goes against.
Nice out of bounds play there, run by the Little
Devils
Muskies.
that time is on the inbounds pass. It's Nathan Walker. And then a personal foul goes against, I believe, Rashad Hampton for an off-the-ball foul.
I think that was number 1. I think that was against Lane Hall, the Little Muskies, drawing that foul.
Okay, it was number 1 on John Glenn. Yep, okay, so not Rashad Hampton. It's Lane Hall, his number 1, his first. Under a minute to go. Zanesville trailing 43-32 with the ball. Trying to cut into this double-digit margin, down by 11. Mikey Johnson. Johnson over to Hampton. Hampton left to right, spin dribble inside, foul, and he'll go to the line. Yeah, when you get that deep and you're Hampton, I think good things are going to happen.
Yes.
And Caleb Larrick's going to come back in just as we speak. I Coach Scheck for John Glenn say, we don't want any more of that.
Plus, they may be trying to hold it here for the last second shot once they get it back, and he's a pretty good option down inside because that's a big mismatch for the Muskies.
Personal foul number 2 on Nathan Walker. Hampton gets his 3rd point on the free throw.
And that's big for John Glenn, and Hampton's only scored 3 tonight. He comes in as their leading scorer with almost 15 points a game.
Yep, the 6-foot junior. And sitting back down now is Doyle. So Coach Harris, I think, maybe said, let's not take a chance on him.
And he doesn't want him down there at the defensive end.
Second free throw by Hampton's also good. And it's 43-34. Under 10 for Zanesville. Give Zanesville credit in this third quarter. Behind the back pass by Walker. And then driving the baseline, and then another foul on Zanesville. Grayson Gross. Looks like maybe the officials are going to tighten things up, Coach.
And see, I don't like that. You know, if you've allowed them to play all game long, I think you've got to be consistent with the way you're calling. But I agree with you. I think they have tightened things up a little bit.
Yeah, just a couple of the touches now are being called. So John Glenn with 4 fouls and Zanesville with 3. Ball tapped away, belongs to Zanesville. So the Blue Devils could play for 1 shot here and get a good look.
And I think that's the intent and purpose here, right here from Coach Harris.
Yep, they need to find Hampton, but they better get in a hurry because Doyle only has 6 seconds to go. Looks like he's going to take Steele Bates one-on-one. Inside it will go. Shot up is rejected, and that will end the third quarter. So after 3, good comeback by Zanesville in the third. It's 43-34, John Glenn.
Located at 16050 McConnellsville Road in Caldwell, Ohio. Patrons Buckeye Mutual Insurance Company is a mutual insurance company established in 1896 for the purpose of providing insurance coverage to rural Ohio. They offer a product to meet your insurance need, whether it is for a farm, rental dwelling, home in town, secondary or seasonal dwelling, churches, or mobile home. They partner with Grinnell Mutual Insurance Company to offer liability coverage to package with their patrons Buckeye Mutual policy. Call today at 638-3604 and follow them on Facebook at Patrons Buckeye.
In today's marketplace, you have many choices for insurance. WB Green Insurance, a representative of Westfield Insurance, is committed to providing you with excellent coverage for your home and auto at a fair and competitive price. Westfield has been in the neighborhood for over 150 years, providing peace of mind and quality insurance products through independent insurance professionals. Sharing knowledge, building trust is Westfield's pledge to their customers. Call WB Green Insurance today.
Fourth quarter action here at John Glenn. So, Mike, is it the case of John Glenn didn't play so good, or Zanesville played really well, or both?
I think just a little bit of both. The Blue Devils tightened their defense up a little bit at that time and got the little Muskies out of their comfort zone.
To the corner is Hayes. Back to Hampton. Hampton in the corner. He will go on top to Drew Doyle. He'll drive inside off glass. No good. Rebounded by the Blue Devils. They're in a hold. I think we'll go on Bexley Woodard. And Maddox Hayes with the offensive rebound.
And Hayes is back in the lineup with his 3 fouls. But, it's fourth quarter. He's got to play. Good move there by Coach Harris.
2 fouls on Woodard. Doyle will be the inbounder. And he will go on top to Hayes. Back over to Mikey Johnson. Johnson tries to go by Steele Bates. And then we'll give over to Doyle. Doyle drives left hand and then curls around inside. No good. Rebounded by Walker. And Walker will have the basketball. 7:15 to go, fourth quarter. And John Glenn leading 43-34 inside to Larrick. Larrick double teamed on the post. Easy pass inside to Woodard. And don't you think John Glenn has worked on that on the double on Larrick?
Well, I'll tell you what, that was a nice cut back door that time by Woodard, and he could see, and Larrick able to see him over the shoulder. And you're right. I'm sure that's something that they've seen a lot of and well executed that time by the John Glenn Little Muskies.
A couple of free throws coming for Woodard. First one's good. Yeah, they had Larrick at the mid-post area. Zanesville on the double team didn't have the backside support. Easy cut that time to the basket, and a nice job by Larrick, and that's good scouting. Second one on the way is good. 45-34, back to a double-digit lead, and John Glenn allowed to bring back the pressure defense. There's the double team on Hampton, over to Doyle. Doyle's played pretty well tonight, don't you think?
He has. I think he himself has handled the pressure about as well as could be expected.
Mikey Johnson has it rejected by Caleb Larrick. Caleb Larrick gives over to Caden Walls. And Caden Walls across the timeline. And Nathan Walker ends up with the ball on the left wing, all top to Walls. Shot on the way. Nope. Woodard decides not to take it. John Glenn plays a little bit of a perimeter game. And Steele Bates inside to Caleb Larrick. Larrick tries to go. Shot up. No good. In the lane. 3 seconds. Nope. Timeout, John Glenn.
Good call. Good timeout call there by Coach Scheck, because you had it right. It was on the verge of being a 3-second count.
Yeah, at that time, the double team for Zanesville bothered Larrick, and he wasn't able to make that little scoochy-doo pass that he had the last possession.
And it all started because he didn't catch the ball cleanly, had to kind of fumble around for the basketball, never did really gain good control of it.
Yeah.
But good timeout call there by Coach Scheck.
Yeah, as I watch him too, he likes to go to his left a lot, which kind of leaves him a little bit of that fadeaway instead of that inside pivot and go strong with the right hand. I wonder how much he works on that. He makes that outside pivot to his left, whereas I think if he catches that at that mid post, makes that inside pivot and then the crossover step to the right off the glass.
He's much more effective too when he catches it just a little closer to the basket than what he did that time.
6:28 to go.
Oh, he was open on the backside for a layup there.
That's Walker inside. That's easy.
There's too much strength there from Walker.
Yep. Walker with 13. And suddenly the lead balloons to 47-34. Zanesville in that danger point again, where they've got to score a basket to stay in this one. Doyle, he'll go on top to Hampton. Hampton has to be frustrated. Now he gets a good look inside. He's fouled. Yeah. Well, I was going to say, Hampton, just 4 points. He has to be a little bit, I know every guy wants his points, but he just hasn't been there for him tonight. No. That foul's going to be on Nathan Walker. That's his third. Rashad Hampton with just 4 points in the basketball game. First one's good. He is now 3 of 3 from the line, was held scoreless in the second period, just 2 free throws in the third. So Hampton at 14.6 points per game, their leading scorer for the Blue Devils.
And I think you got to give Walls really credit, for the defensive effort he's had against Hampton tonight.
Yeah. Both free throws good. Zanesville not trying to double team, but that could be dangerous as Walker gets it across the timeline and drives in and then throws the ball to the 3 for the corner. No good, but rebounded by Nathan Walker. Walker fakes, goes back on top. Bexley Woodard, 3 on the way is good. Well, they make him pay.
There's one man you cannot leave wide open. An uncontested 3 is almost a given for Bexley Woodard.
Yeah, when he gets hot, it's a tough night. 50-36. Doyle inside, loses it, picks it back up, fouled, no call, gets his own rebound. Hampton thinks about the 3, drives baseline, shot up, crazy, and it's good.
Tough shot there.
A little backyard playground scoop by Rashad Hampton. It's Walsh, inside to Larrick. Now Larrick goes to his right side, bellied up, and he'll draw the foul. They called the travel. Yep. Well, I'll never make that comment again, Coach. To tell him to go to his right side on that inside pivot.
Pretty good job by Raleigh inside there. Hold his ground. He's doesn't have the height to compete, but I tell you what, he's got the body to hold Larrick away from the basket. Did a good job that time.
50-38, as Zanesville has held serve here most of this second half. At one point, it looked like the Blue Devils were going to be out of this one, but they managed to hang around. It's Doyle being guarded by Walker. Walker with the 3 fouls. John Glenn.
Zone this time.
I was going to say, maybe they in a zone. Offensive rebound and then knocked out of bounds. And John Glenn thinks it belongs to the Muskies.
I'm not sure that wasn't a foul against the little Muskies. It wasn't called too.
And I think Muskies looking for some out of bounds against Zanesville, but it will stay with the Blue Devils.
No, Winland back into the lineup for the John Glenn Little Muskies.
Winland with a basket in the second quarter. Doyle, long toss.
That almost got the rafter.
Yeah, Mikey Johnson. Doyle drives inside, kick over to Riley, long 3 on the way, no good. Rebound, knocked around, picked up by Bexley Woodard, ahead to Steele Bates. Bates gets some help, and then a personal foul. Nope, they're going to call a timeout.
Yeah, another good call there by Coach Sheck, because Bates had nowhere to go with the basketball.
He had picked up his dribble right in front of the John Glenn bench. Zanesville came over and doubled. There just wasn't room to pass along the sideline or to the corner or back out on top. So Coach Sheck sees that, makes that timeout. So it's going to be a full, so that'll allow us to first give us some of our great sponsors. It's Doan Ford, Valentine Insurance, Patrons Buckeye Mutual Insurance, West 40 Auto Sales, and WB Green Insurance. So, Coach, you're down now 50-38. I'm not sure Zanesville can pull rabbits out of a hat, but what do they need to do now to try and get a little 6-8 point run?
They've got to sell out defensively. I mean, they've really got to gamble. They've really kind of held back. They've showed a little bit of full court pressure, but they've really not, gamble. You've got to gamble now. I mean, you can't sit around and let the game come to you. You've got to go after it. And hope that John Glenn doesn't shoot it well, because if they do, they've got a 12-point deficit here to overcome. So it's pretty much stayed what it was at the half. The Blue Devils have made a nice showing here, but just not able to dig into that lead.
So let's see if Zanesville does, in fact, do what Coach Podlasiak suggests. And they're going to go man out of bounds. It's going to be Winland on the inbounds pass to Bexley Woodard. Woodard has 11 in the game. On top to Bates. Steele Bates has played quite a bit here, the freshman. That's going to be over and back.
Yes. We could see that from here.
Yeah. So Ron Frame on the call that time for the officiating crew. Will Nikolazakis returns for Steele Bates. And Coach Sheck saying that Donnie Giffen that was tapped, but it wasn't.
Good try.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Never hurt to try.
That's with the basketball, Drew Doyle. Looking for something inside. Now he'll drive that way. Shot up, no good. Rebound knocked around. It belongs to Bexley Woodard. Then a foul called against Blue Devils. That's Briar Harmon. That's his first.
You know, not a real good shot that time by Odell, but they're kind of in a panic mode right now.
Yeah.
So
you know, I almost think too, with 3:55 to go, if you want a guy forcing it, I think Rashad Hampton's the guy I want forcing it.
Hampton or Doyle, either one, I think so. A couple of the other guys showing they can spot up on the perimeter, but I don't think that John Glenn will let them do that here.
Not anymore after the 3 straight threes by Xavier Riley in the third quarter. Will Nikolazakis. Left-handed dribble over to Winland. Noah Winland on top to Woodard. Over to Caden Walls, back to Woodard. Woodard directs traffic. Looks inside. Left-handed dribble. Spin. Goes back to the corner. And then Walker on the baseline. Back over to Walls. Walls drives inside. Pull up from 8. No good. Rebounded by Zanesville. Here come the Blue Devils. And that's Mikey Johnson with the basketball. He is double teamed. Oh, inside. Easy looking shot and good. That's Briar Harmon. Well, Zanesville with some transition basketball. They trail by 10.
Nice job by Mikey Johnson splitting that double team and finding a wide open guy inside.
Rashad Hampton on Will Nikolazakis. And John Glenn to the corner. He turns it over, does Nikolazakis.
A little careless with the basketball there, didn't.
Well, I'm just wondering, John Glenn here in this second half, they've held on, but I don't think it's the kind of half they've wanted.
No, that's not something to build on for next week. That's 8 turnovers here in the second half alone for the Little Muskies.
Drew Doyle with the basketball, and Zanesville with a basket here could cut into the lead, and it would be the closest they've been in some time. That's Doyle. Over to Harmon. Harmon back to Doyle. Doyle. Crossover, left to right dribble to Harmon. To the corner, here comes Hampton. That's the guy you want shooting it. Crazy shot, up and good. Shot. Wow, another scooper duper by Rashad Hampton. He's impressive. He's fun to watch.
He is. He's got some athletic ability.
And it's 50
and you
to
called
42.
You said that's who you want to take the shot.
Yeah. Holding the basketball is Steele Bates, now over to Bexley Woodard. You know, Zanesville's playing hard now.
Yes, they are.
They've picked it up here in this second half. Driving, Steele Bates, shot up, is a runner and good.
Nice little shot fake out there in the corner, got the defender off his feet. Bates took advantage of it.
52-42, under 2 minutes to go. Doyle, and he will be fouled, and I think that's going to go on Bates, and that will be his second. And I think that's going to put that's going to put John Glenn at 6 fouls.
Both teams at 6 now, so we will shoot a 1-and-1, both teams the rest of the way.
And Maddox Hayes checks back into the lineup for Zanesville. He replaces Briar Harmon, who sits down with the 2 points. So Zanesville definitely needs a basket here. Rashad Hampton on the inbounds pass, can't handle it, and it goes to John Glenn. Tough turnover that time for Zanesville. On the inbounds play, just kind of threw it at his feet a little bit. Zanesville with that sellout, that full court pressure. Walker to Bates. Bates drives across the timeline with the right hand and drives, loses it, out of bounds. Back to Zanesville. Well, I'll tell you what, that's a lot of faith in a freshman, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
1:43 to go, down 10 are the Blue Devils.
John Glenn's going to back off here and call off the full court pressure and just probably play a half court zone here.
Interesting.
Make sure you find the shooters on the perimeter.
There's that 3 on the way by Mikey Johnson, no good, but offensive rebound to Zanesville on the floor. It is Drew Doyle. Doyle, long pass to Rashad Hampton. He will drive inside and be fouled. That's going to put Hampton at the line for a couple. Well, that's what you got to do. I mean, I think, you know, if you're Hampton, just drive in. You got the skills. Make it happen. Personal foul goes against John Glenn. That's Bexley Woodard's 3rd. Nobody in real foul trouble on either time. Free throw's good by Hampton. He is 5 of 5 at the line, has 11 points. One more coming for Hampton. One of the few seniors on this Zanesville. No, he's only a junior.
Yeah, I think Xavier Riley, the only senior for the
he will be
Blue
back.
Devils.
Second free throw is also good. Double team by Zanesville. Will Nikolazakis crosses the timeline, gets doubled again. Over to Walls. Walls in some trouble as he is being really guarded heavy. And we'll have the basketball with 1:05 to go here in the game.
The Devils need to foul somebody.
Yep, 52-44. So it's going to become a free throw shooting contest at this point. And that's going to be on the Zanesville. That's personal foul number 4 on Grayson Goins. So let's see what happens with him. Caden Walls will step to the line where he is 3 of 4 from the stripe tonight. 52-44, 1:02 to go, fourth quarter. John Glenn leading Zanesville. First one's good. One more coming. John Glenn has shot free throws tonight very well.
That's a tough situation for Zanesville because you have to foul right here, and you've got 5 real good free throw shooters on the court for John Glenn.
Free throw is missed by Walls, and then a loose ball foul will go against John Glenn, and that's going to put Zanesville at the line for a 1 and bonus.
Coach Sheck cannot be happy with that because the one thing you don't want to do here with this lead is foul and allow them to go to the free throw line and score points with the clock not running.
Absolutely, 100%. So Mikey Johnson on the block out ends up with the ball. Caden Walls ends up with the foul. So Johnson, who is 2 of 2 from the stripe tonight, gets the 1 and 1. First one on the way is good. He has 8, looking for one more. It's 53-45.
They're to be commended for the way
Absolutely.
that they've played here in the second half. They have not given up, played hard, just to have not been able to get over the hump.
Absolutely. Second one, front iron, no good. Rebound tapped around, belongs to Zanesville. Another foul, nope, a timeout. It's going to go against, Zanesville's going to take a 30, and that was a double team coming. So, I guess the strategy is here. You know, you're going to have to foul right away, or do you want to just play defense?
I think you mean for Zanesville.
Yeah.
At Zanesville, in a situation, we used to tell the kids, we're going to try to get a 5-second count. You know, you're going to try to get a steal on the inbounds. If not, you've got to foul immediately. I mean, you can't, they're down a situation. You can't be picky now who you decide to foul. But the other thing is they need to score here at the offensive end, too.
It's 53-45. This is the closest Zanesville has been, I think, since the first quarter. Before it went to be 19-9, I think.
They've outscored John Glenn here in the second half.
Yeah. Yep. So they outscored him 19-15 in the third quarter. And now in this fourth quarter, it's pretty much even scoring. But Zanesville hanging right in there, as Coach mentioned. Well, let's see what Zanesville decides to do.
The difference in this basketball game, Howard, was the effectiveness of the press against Zanesville early in this basketball game.
Yeah, they got that lead, and they've hung on, to their credit. And that's Hampton. He's going to drive, looking for the shot. Triple teamed almost, doubled at least. Back to Doyle, and then thrown out of bounds. You know, if you're Hampton, don't give it up.
No.
You've got it on top on the perimeter. Just drive in.
But
and you
John
get
Glenn
the foul
who
and miss.
needed the basketball, too. They
got
did
a double.
good job double teaming
him. It was a double and a hedge.
Yes,
You know,
it was, yeah.
See Larrick out there hedging after the double? That's Nikolazakis. He is double teamed and fouled.
And there's your foul. You've got to do that.
Yeah. And, you know, if you lose by 15, okay, so be it. You know, but if they miss some free throws and you come down and you get the ball in Hampton's hands and he drives, stops the clock maybe with a foul shot, you know, you've done something good. Nikolazakis, it will be his first attempt at the free throw line. He has 5 points. And 1 and 1 on the way. Free throw up. Good. And one more coming for Nikolazakis. He had those 3 fouls in the first half and has played clean in the second. Both teams in the bonus. Second one, good. And those are 2 big free throws for Nikolazakis. Caleb Blarick will enter the lineup now, I think probably for defensive purposes.
Right, he and Nicholas Ox have been doing that now about the last minute and a half. Offense for defense.
Rashad Hampton with the basketball. Back to Doyle. Doyle drives inside, up off glass, and good. And a timeout. Drew Doyle in the basket. I think John Glenn almost looked like they were just a little bit timid about fouling that time and gave him some space on the drive.
I think what you do there defensively, you just got to try to get in front as much as possible, and they did the right thing. You do not want to foul in that situation. I mean, you're still up by 8 points inside 40 seconds to go. The clock is your friend. Keep the clock running. If they score, they score. And I don't know, can we tell on the no timeouts left for Zanesville.
Okay.
That was, I just want to see. I was kind of curious. That's the last timeout that Coach Harris is going to be able to take.
And John Glenn with the 2 remaining in case they get stuck on an inbounds pass on a dead ball. So 55-47 in favor of John Glenn. It's been an excellent basketball game, despite kind of a tough stretch run for Zanesville. Give those guys credit. They've done well to hang around.
And again, just one senior here on the starting lineup for Zanesville, so they'll have 4 back along with a couple subs here. So I'm sure Coach Harris looking for improvement.
Yeah. Well,
next season. So you got something to build on.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
And these young men have played hard here, especially here in the second half.
Yep.
So I'm sure the thing here, you want to get a 5-second count, a steal, or you're going to have to foul immediately.
Yeah, Walls gets it ahead right away to Nikolazakis. Back to Bates to Walls. Walls being double teamed, and John Glenn.
Timeout.
Timeout by John Glenn. So they're going to have 1 left. They're going to take a full. We're going to take a break here. We'll be back in just a moment. Stay with us. It's 55-47.
I was sitting in my car, and it wouldn't start. I lifted the hood, and the engine was falling apart. What would I do? My eyes filled with tears. Then on the radio, I heard of West 40 by Pay here, where for a little money down and a little each week, I could have a car, nice, shiny, and sleek. So I walked in the door, and I put the money down. Now I got a nice car that I can drive around. West 40 by Pay here will help rebuild your credit. The corner of Dewey and Route 40 in Cambridge, don't you forget it.
West 40 Auto Sales, corner of Route 40 and Dewey Avenue in Cambridge, is home of the guaranteed credit approval, with most loans approved while you wait. Go to their website to fill out an online loan application, west40autosales.com. You'll also find their weekly special listed there.
John Glenn inbounds the basketball, and then a foul right away by Drew Doyle. Wow, my goodness.
5-second count.
Oh. Wow, that's not going to make the John Glenn people very happy on that one. I think they're going to talk about this one.
Yeah, Ron Frame has an opinion here he wants to give to
Donnie Giffen. I think it was a foul.
I think it was too.
It was pretty clear that was a foul on Drew Doyle. So
the only reason it wouldn't have been a foul would have been if there was a 5-second count before it, and I don't think that happened.
No. So Drew Doyle picks up his 3rd foul, and Caden Walls goes to the line for a 1-and-1. Walls 4 of 5 free throw shooting here in this basketball game. First one's good. Walls.
John Glenn has been solid from the free throw line here down the stretch when they've needed to be.
Yep, in this 4th quarter, prior to this free throw, they are 6 of 6. Let's not hope we jinx them. Second one by Walls. There you go. No good. 6 of 7. Ball loose on the floor, tied up. Timeout by John Glenn. That's going to be it for the Muskies. But they will have the basketball. 56-47 in favor of John Glenn.
No time left. No timeouts left either way.
Right.
Good call that time by Nathan Walker. He's like a coach on the floor.
Yeah, I look at him, and does he have ability, you think, Coach, to play at the next level?
I think he could play Division III if he wants to. He's a good athlete. From my knowledge, I think he was a good football player. So I don't know what his plans are down the stretch, but I think if he wanted to put some time into it and concentrate on one sport at the college level, he could play Division III.
Yeah, the thing I see is he's an outstanding basketball player. Don't get me wrong.
Yes.
But he's kind of one of those tweeners. Even at the D3 level, what do you do with them? Do you put him on the perimeter, or do you put him inside?
You can't play him inside, I don't think.
Then he's going to have to get on the old sneaker treadmill.
That's right.
And pick it up a little bit. So we'll find out. But he's a good player, good kid from everything we hear. Outstanding career for Nathan Walker, and it appears as though he's going to move on after tonight. So we wish him certainly the best. Inbounds pass to Walker as we speak, and he scores it. Walker with a game-high 15. Under 20 seconds to go. Hampton, double team. Back door, long range, no good. Rebound to the Muskies, and that should hold things up from here. So it's going to be a 58-47 victory for John Glenn. And what will go in the books is a good basketball game against, in my opinion, Coach, the better team winning.
I think so tonight. But valiant effort here by the Blue Devils, especially here in the second half. Made a couple little adjustments, got back in the basketball game, just did not have enough to get over hump. Dug too deep of a hole there in the first half.
And the final score is 58-47. And again, we want to thank our sponsors tonight, Doan Ford, Valentine Insurance, Patrons Buckeye Mutual Insurance, West 40 Auto Sales, and WB Green Insurance. We are going to step aside for a couple of minutes. We're going to add up all of our numbers, and we'll have plenty of post game. So glad you're a part of our evening. Once again, the score 58-47. John Glenn over Zanesville. We'll be back in a couple.
Our community is a special place, and you work hard to make a living and build a good life for you and your family. It's not always easy. You deserve a local financial partner to be there when you need them most. At Woodsfield Savings Bank, we live, work, and play here. Our cutting-edge technology combined with local decision-making allows us to deliver unmatched personal service. Let us start earning your trust today. Woodsfield Savings Bank. It's personal here.
In your time of need, will you be happy with your cut-rate car insurance? Will you have the coverages you need? Valentine Insurance is dedicated to protecting you and your family when you need it. As an independent insurance agency, we have partnered with many reputable insurance companies who even have local claims adjusters to provide you with unbeatable service. Are you going to trust a talking lizard to help you with your claim? Really? Don't let this happen to you. Trust the professionals at Valentine Insurance. Call 994-1776.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Susan, it's so great to finally be able to get together again.
Oh, it sure is. And I really appreciate you picking up the bill.
I'm happy to. I've got the extra cash. Since we've all been driving so much more again, I've been using Upside, the free app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the Upside app?
Yes. I get real cash back just for buying the gas I was going to buy anyway.
But is it a hassle to use?
No. It's super fast and easy, and I can cash out whenever I want.
That's a total no-brainer. I'm downloading the free Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code HEAT for an extra 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's promo code HEAT. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, to PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code HEAT for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code HEAT.
I was sitting in my car, and it wouldn't start. I lifted the hood, and the engine was falling apart. What would I do? My eyes filled with tears. Then on the radio, I heard of West 40 by Pay here, where for a little money down and a little each week, I could have a car, nice, shiny, and sleek. So I walked in the door, and I put the money down. Now I got a nice car that I can drive around. West 40 by Pay here will help rebuild your credit. The corner of Dewey and Route 40 in Cambridge, don't you forget it.
West 40 Auto Sales, corner of Route 40 and Dewey Avenue in Cambridge, is home of the guaranteed credit approval, with most loans approved while you wait. Go to their website to fill out an online loan application, west40autosales.com. You'll also find their weekly special listed there.
Welcome back, everyone. It's the Boys Division II Eastern District Sectional District, where tonight John Glenn has defeated Zanesville by the score of 58-47. The Muskies improved to 13-11 on the season. The Blue Devils fall to 7-16, but they had a gallant effort. Let's take a look at the scoring first. Rashad Hampton led the Blue Devils in scoring with 12, 3 field goals, 6 of 6 from the line, 12 points for Hampton. Xavier Riley had 3 triples and a deuce. He had 11. Drew Doyle had 8, 3 field goals, 2 of 2 from the line for the 8. Mikey Johnson with 8, a tray, a deuce, 3 of 4 from the line for the 8. Maddox Hayes had a basket for 2. Grayson Goings off the bench for Zanesville for 2. Briar Harmon off the bench for the Blue Devils with 2. Drake Tabler did not score. For the Muskies, they were led tonight by, guess who? Nathan Walker. Walker with 1 triple and 6 trays for 15, 6 deuces and a tray for 15 for Walker. Brandon Alaric had 4 field goals for 8. Caden Walls, 2 field goals, and along the line, 5 of 7 for 9 for Walls. Bexley Woodard, 3 field goals, a tray, 2 of 2 from the line for 11. Woodard. Nicholas Oscus had a basket, a triple, 2 of 2 from the line, and he had 7. Off the bench, Steele Bates had 4. Noah Windland had 2. CJ Dolan did not score, and Lane Hall had 2. Free throw shooting tonight, excellent for both teams. For Zanesville, they were 11 of 12 from the line. For the Muskies, they were 9 of 11 from the line. After the first quarter, John Glenn led 15-9, and then they really put it to Zanesville in the second quarter. An outstanding second frame for the Muskies. They led at the break 28-15, and many of us were wondering, could Zanesville stick around? And they absolutely did, because they outscored John Glenn 19-15 in the third quarter. So after 3, it was 34 for the Blue Devils and 43 for the Muskies. Then in the fourth quarter, John Glenn rallied and they outscored Zanesville 15-13. So that makes the final margin 58-47. And Coach Plaz, what about some numbers?
Shooting wise, the Little Muskies tonight overall 23 of 46 for an even 50%. What's impressive, for 2-point range tonight, they were 20 out of 31, 65%. The Zanesville Blue Devils overall 16 of 46, 35%. They were 4 of 13 from behind the 3-point arc. Just needed a couple more there to drop. Rebound-wise, kind of dominated a little bit by John Glenn, which we kind of expected going in. They out-rebounded Zanesville 30-19. The Blue Devils did a really nice job second half adjusting to John Glenn's pressure. They only turned the ball over 4 times the whole second half after having turned it over 8 times the first half. They ended with 12 turnovers compared to 11 for John Glenn, which I'm sure Coach Sheck will not be excited about that. They turned the ball over 9 times, and they're going to have to improve on that number if they expect to compete with New Philly next week.
Well, yeah, let's move right into that. By the way, we do want to mention a score update that we did here. I don't know if it was a final, but at some point of the basketball game, Maysville was leading Meadowbrook 101-38. That was at Maysville High School. Again, we don't know if that was a final, but whatever it was a lot to a little. So, okay, Coach, let's move on a little bit in our conversation and talk about we move on to the districts, because it used to be you'd play your sectionals, have a champion or two teams come out, and then the district champion, one or two teams come out. Now they've kind of combined. So, by the way, the final score of Maysville was 106-41. So a few more points there for Maysville, just to make it more embarrassing, I guess. But it used to be they were separate. Now they're a combined sectional district, which it's neither here nor there. But for John Glenn, 2-0 now in this sectional, first with the thrilling victory over Steubenville, and then they had to fight tonight to beat this, let's call it gritty Zanesville team. Now they move on to district play Wednesday, March 1st. We don't know the final between West Holmes and New Philly. We do now.
I just looked it up.
Okay.
New Philly was a winner tonight over West Holmes, 58-40. So that will be John Glenn's next opponent, the New Philly Quakers, and that again will be Wednesday, March the 1st, at a site to be determined.
So two teams will come out of this upper bracket, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
And
no.
John Glenn in the bracket. It looks like Maysville will possibly come out, and who knows on the other side. But New Philly and John Glenn for trying to get to the finals. Looks like they may end up with Tri-Valley.
Yeah, because the other part of the what they call the East number 1 bracket, St. Clairsville knocked off Beaver Local tonight 76-61, and the Tri-Valley Scotties were victorious over Philo 60-50. So your two semifinal district matchups in the East Division 1 will be John Glenn New Philly and the St. Clairsville Red Devils against the Tri-Valley Scotties.
All right, and Coach Plaz and the rest of the gang from AVC Communications will be every step along the way, and I'm sure somebody somewhere will be speaking with you Wednesday, March 1st, when John Glenn plays New Philly in a rematch where New Philly won earlier in the season. That should be a good ball game. So before we thank our sponsors, Coach, your thoughts on the game tonight as we wind it down?
A little bit kind of what we expected. We knew that in order for Zanesville to compete here tonight, they were going to have to handle that full court pressure that was employed by John Glenn. Didn't do a very good job of it to begin with, which allowed John Glenn to gain that big lead, and they just kind of maintained that lead the rest of the way back. Even though Zanesville made some adjustments to improve their handling of that pressure, just could not make enough shots to get up over the hump and actually get back into the basketball game.
Well, Zanesville has a lot coming back. Coach Cedric Harris, good young coach, and they will be heard from in the future. He's got the program going the right way. For Coach Sheck, hey, get him up and get him ready for New Philly in the rematch and see what happens. It'll be on a neutral floor. So, our thanks to our great sponsors again, Doan Ford, Valentine Insurance, Patrons Buckeye Mutual Insurance, West 40 Auto Sales, and WB Green Insurance. Thanks to Coach Mike Podlasiak. My name is Howard Twiggs. Glad to have been part of your evening here on WILE 97.7. And thanks for the crew for keeping us going. So have a good weekend, the rest of it, everybody. Again, John Glenn, the winner over Zanesville. Take care. We'll see you later.
This has been a presentation of AVC Sports.